Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton is with me. The garage is open. It's spring. What do you reckon, Pete?
I love spring.
I love spring too. Before it gets too hot.
Yeah.
All the new leaves and the new life and the birds. The birds are making nests all over the place. I don't know where they've been all winter, but they're making up for it now, I can tell you. Anyway. I wanted to mention this to you before I did anything else. You know, if you're a regular listener to our Around the Dining Room Table live streaming show on a Friday morning, 9 to 12, you'd know that Professor Ian Plimer comes in around 10 o'clock. Whenever he's in town, and sometimes if he's out of town, but contactable on the phone, we have him on anyway. He's just the most amazing man with so much knowledge. And it came up that he's on, I think it's about 10 of Gina Rinehart's boards. Why I mention this is that a few weeks ago I got one of these from Dick Smith. It was a come-on for an investment idea. Lo and behold, the other day, I get one from Gina Rinehart, saying stuff like, as you know, I am the richest woman in Australia, probably the richest woman in the world, so I have nothing to gain from telling you about this. I just want you to be as rich as I am. And away it went. It was Gina Rinehart. It sounded like her, it looked like her, just like Dick Smith. And I knew that Professor Plimer knew her well. And I said, do you know this is going on? And he said, yes. We have been trying to stop it. It's not Gina Rinehart. It's artificial intelligence. But it begs the question. Now, it used to be seeing is believing. It's no longer possible to say seeing is believing. Because they could have the President of the United States declaring nuclear war on Russia. I mean, how do you know anymore what is real? I don't know where we're going to go with this. I just personally think it's incredibly dangerous. You can't believe what you're seeing. Anyway, suffices to say, if you get any of these, and a few other people apparently have been cloned. I don't know what the expression is, but it's a con, it's a disgrace, and something should be done about it. Penalties should be incredibly big if you're caught doing that sort of misrepresentation.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
So much to talk about. I'm not really sure where to start. But let's start with immigration. Immigration. This cap on foreign students is getting the headlines. It's a cut of about 25%, I'm told. But really, it's immigration generally that's the issue. And not just here, not just in Australia, and not just housing, cost of housing, the industry that higher education has become or has been encouraged to become, It's all interwoven. It's interconnected. But let's look at it. When exactly did universities become profit centres instead of places of learning? Economic powerhouses they are these days. In South Australia, it is our largest export industry, selling degrees. Go figure. Churning out overseas students with worthless degrees? Maybe saying they're worthless is a bit too much, but I don't exactly know what the majority of these students are actually studying. But they are turned out with their degree and perhaps with a nice but expensive Australian experience. How did higher learning lose its way so profoundly? Why are vice-chancellors paid $1 million a year? Why didn't it occur to somebody to query how one can earn a degree when he or she can't even speak English? Or doesn't that matter? Oh, silly me, of course. Money speaks all languages. To me, while housing and crowding are important, more important are the shady colleges, crooks, who are selling student visas right under the nose of government and getting away with it. It reminds me of the NDIS and the CFMEU. Someone in Canberra should be held responsible. What we get, of course, is the Sergeant Schultz response. We know nothing. Still on immigration, it's always been a contentious issue. Doesn't matter how far back you go. I'll bet the Aboriginals weren't too keen on convicts arriving. And then there were the Chinese and others who came with the discovery of gold in Australia. There was the Labor Party decision to introduce the White Australia policy. Look, we have examples of what to do and what not to do all over the world. Look at what happens when a country loses its culture because of uncontrolled immigration. The first responsibility of any government is to look after its people, to discriminate in favour of its citizens. Yes, I did say discriminate. If there is the slightest doubt about the background, the security, the wisdom of letting certain people into the country, government should err on the side of caution. Foremost in their thinking should be, will these people assimilate? Will they seek to join the great Australian family? Will they share our values? On just that one point, you could base your entire immigration policy, which I believe would be enormously popular. Clearly, we've got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of immigrants with ideas and values and customs alien, totally incompatible with Australians. And I believe this has to stop. If for no other reason, it simply just doesn't work. Having got that off my chest, I think we should demand that before people run for public office, they have to pass an intelligence test. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, good idea.
An intelligence test. Now, they don't have to be a genius, but that would be nice. But they can't be stupid. Take this example of stupidity. The leader of the Greens, Adam Bandt, who may well hold the balance of power after the next election, told the press club last Wednesday that he wants an excessive profits tax, excessive profits tax, a super tax on big corporations, a big tax on oil and gas producers, a big tax on the miners and the banks. That's up 10%, from 30% corporate tax to 40%. He believes this will raise hundreds of billions of dollars. Well, it just might be, but it's also just plain stupid. Firstly, the big end of town, blue chip companies, do make huge profits. Well, that's their job, which is terrific because we get the benefit. Let me spell it out for the Greens. They think the Greens, are Robin Hood. You know, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. They think they're Robin Hood. They, along with Labour, are actually Dumb and Dumber. Those profits.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
That they make. Be they super, small, medium, large economy, I don't know. Those profits go to the shareholders. And I would say the blue chip companies would feature in every superannuation fund that we have in Australia. We are the shareholders. We are the beneficiaries of their hard work. You see, these people don't understand it. They don't get it. These simple facts of economic life. And yet they want the power in Canberra. Dumb. Profits are distributed. Profits are what is left after the taxes and expenses. Higher taxes mean smaller dividends. Do you get it? Huh? Then, of course, and we've discussed this before, capital is mobile. They can always find a more favourable environment in which to work. And then there's the Greens' proposal to ban gas. Ban gas. A complete ban on the exploration for gas, which again is stupid. If we don't look for gas, we will slowly run out of gas. And as we do, it will become more and more expensive. Dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. As you would know by now, the monthly inflation rate is down from 3.8%. 3.8 down to 3.5%. So, no interest rate cuts this year, but then again, no rises either. The reason is interesting. The government's rebates for the cost of the very expensive electricity that we have is the reason. Clearly, that's the reason. The government is trying to ameliorate the general public, curry favour, subsidise their mistakes. The reason for the rebates? The totally intolerable high cost of electricity caused by this government's policies. But those rebates, subsidies, call them what you like, they're paid for with our dollars, our money, given back to us. All because of renewables. A total government-sponsored ideological disaster. The GDP figures are out tomorrow, and they'll be interesting. The prediction is that the figure will be soft. By that I mean it will show little or no growth. Now, what we don't want to do, of course, is to slip into a situation where we will end up with 2 quarters of negative growth. We will have a little bit of growth. That's the prediction that I have been given. Little or no growth, which in a country like Australia, the richest energy-producing country in Australia, God, that's a disgrace for a country like us. Chris Bowen, speaking to the people who lord it over us, this career politician, Chris Bowen, who was elected to the House of Representatives in 2004. Yes, I think that's right. 2004, has since that time claimed over $2.2 million in living away from home allowances. $2.2 million living away from home allowances? Paid off his Canberra flat over and over and over and over again? Listen, it's time to end the rorts of career politicians, and there are many, many. I do not regard this guy very highly, as you can possibly understand. I think he's mucked up every portfolio he's touched in federal politics. But he's got the numbers, the factions, nothing to do with us or our well-being. But, this is a personal opinion, which is what this program and the program on Friday is all about. 9 to 12, jeremycordeaux.com, 3 hours live streaming around the dining room table. It's my opinion, your opinion, the opinion of my guests as well. Just quickly, I want to tell you, and on Friday I must mention or promote the fact that Jim Elder will be on the show because he has got an enormous auction coming up, and these he's been sending me catalogues, and I've been going to his exhibitions and following auctions for a long time. I spend a lot of time looking, not buying. I look, but this catalogue is that thick, and the paintings are wonderful. So if you want to drop in from, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday of this week, they're in Melbourne Street, North Adelaide. The auction, this one I'm talking about, comes up next Sunday, so Jim will be on the program on Friday morning. He's a sponsor of this program. You can call him if you'd like to on 8267-2869, or you can go to his website, which is that's interesting, info at Elder Fine Art, all one word, .com.au. But that telephone number again, 8267-2869. And this promises to be an absolute ripper, one not to miss. Anyway, Jim will tell us all about that come Friday. How much time have I got, Pete?
A couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes, all right. I'll leave you with this one. The Aboriginal population is growing. You mightn't have noticed, or somebody, particularly not the ABC, they wouldn't tell you, but the population is growing at a rate that makes absolutely no sense at all. But hang on, yes, I suppose it does. The Albanese government seems to want to get as many people as possible identifying as Aboriginal. Now, it's not policed, it's not even organised. Even Aboriginals are angry about the way in which people are being included in the Aboriginal population without any justification whatsoever. Yes, of course, there are incentives. You tick the box. And they always ask you the question whether you're getting a driver's license or whatever you're doing. It's always, are you an Aboriginal or an Indigenous person? Tick the box. If you tick the box, you get free this, free that, fast tracking here, fast tracking there. You can skip the queue and come straight to the front. Now, look, I suppose it really is no wonder that people are claiming to be Aboriginal. Understandable, but corrupt, fraudulent.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Just like their other great initiatives, the NDIS and the CFMEU. What I don't understand is, where are the police? Where are the police? I didn't think you could do that sort of stuff. Happy birthday if you're having a birthday. Happy wedding anniversary. Another posting tomorrow, but before I leave you, it is September the 3rd. Happy birthday to all the Virgos. 1875, Ferdinand Porsche, the German automotive engineer, Volkswagen, Beetle, Mercedes-Benz. He even had a hand in that, the Mercedes-Benz SS, which is a classic, beautiful car. Founder of the Porsche car company, born in Bohemia. Austro-Hungarian Empire. Died in 51, but he was born this day in 1875. Bill Haley and his Comets rejected on this day $30,000 for a 15-day tour of Australia. That was back in 1970. Okay, doesn't say why. Chris the sheep. Chris the sheep breaks the world record for the biggest shorn fleece. 40 kilos. Imagine humping that around on your back. That's 88 pounds. Chris lived near Canberra in Australia. World record, 2015. World War II began officially 1939. In effect, of course, began a lot earlier than that. Britain declares war on Germany after Germany invades Poland. France follows 6 hours later, quickly followed by Australia, New Zealand, South Africa and Canada. Same day, 2017, they find a 1.4-ton World War II bomb and have to defuse it. Sitting in Frankfurt, Germany. 60,000 people had to be evacuated. That was the largest find and evacuation in post-war Europe. I suppose they're scattered around the place. Mitford's sister and Nazi sympathiser, Unity Mitford. Interesting name for a girl, Pete. Unity. Unity Mitford attempts suicide after Britain declares war on Germany. God. The bullet lodged in her brain, eventually killing her in 1948, but she shot herself in 1939. Dear, oh dear. I don't understand that. Miscalculation of some kind. Richard the Lionheart is crowned in Westminster. 30 Jews were massacred after his coronation. Richard ordered the perpetrators to be executed. 1189. Why would you go out and murder people? Oh, they were strange times. Pauline Collins, English actress, Shirley Valentine, born in London, 1940. Sweden begins driving on the right-hand side of the road. 1967. It'd be quite an ordeal to change it over, wouldn't it? The flag of the United States flown in battle for the first time at Couch's Bridge in Delaware, a skirmish during the American Revolutionary War, 1777. Delaware featured largely in that war. I got a picture over there of Washington crossing the Delaware. It's It's not the famous painting, but somebody did a replica of it, a lookalike of it. And it's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. I love American history. You do too, Pete, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Charlie Sheen, the American actor, Wall Street, Platoon, 3.5 Men. It wasn't 3.5 Men, was it? It was 2.5 Men. Wasn't it?
I've never watched it.
He spent a fair time in jail. Anyway, he was born in New York City. Martin Sheen's son, bad boy, Charlie, 1965, born 1965. First automobile to exceed 300 miles an hour. Malcolm Campbell powers the Bluebird 301.129 miles per hour at Bonneville's Flats in Utah, Salt Flats in Utah, 1935. Wow. And I'll give you one more. Frank Capra, Italian American Academy Award-winning film director. He directed It's a Wonderful Life, It Happened One Night, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Jimmy Stewart featured in a lot of those movies. Anyway, Frank died at 94 on this day in 1991. Thank you very much for being with us, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you enjoy the day. And we'll see you tomorrow with another posting. And you can catch up with this as a podcast because my friend Andy Martin takes the audio from our postings on Facebook and puts them around the place. And you might find it wherever you look for your favourite podcasts, of which there are many. I hope you might find us one day. Thank you very much for viewing The Court of Public Opinion. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton and I'll be back tomorrow. Believe in yourself and goodbye for now.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.